Hello again, good morning. Well, once again we're in Corfu, end of the summer season, winter's on its way, and we look at the food that's comforting food really for the winter over here. And me personally, I do like a little bit of Stifado. Obviously, many Greeks have their own different ways of making it, but this is Corfual's version of Greek Stifado. And it's dead simple and doesn't take long to prep. A couple of hours to cook, of course, but not long to prep. Anyway, let's get in the kitchen and have a look. So the first thing we're going to need is about a kilo of beef. I've already washed this and chopped it up. And I use the cheapest beef I can lay my hands on. It's going to cook for a couple of hours to get tender. Then you need about 3/4 of a kilo of small onion shallots. This is the longest job, but I find it very comforting to peel these. Then we need chopped up rosemary, and in this here we have 2 or 3 cloves of garlic, teaspoon of cinnamon, teaspoon of cloves, and we have peppercorns. And here I usually put in a bay leaf and a tablespoon of tomato paste. 2 or 3 tomatoes, except I use tin tomatoes. About a teacup of vinegar, stock, nice stock I made earlier, oil, salt, pepper, and a bag with some flour in to flour our beef. That's about it. So the first job is to, as I've already washed the beef and cut it up, our first job is to brown off the onions a little bit. So we put the oil into the pan and then we put in our onions. We just want to brown them gently. Many people put the beef in first and brown the beef first, but I prefer to do the onions to get the flavour of the onions into the oil. In the meantime, I put the flour and the beef together and give it a big shake up to gently flour the beef. And with the beef lightly floured, I just set it aside, ready to put in to the same oil as I'm browning the onions. Before I do that, I will take the onions out and just reserve them on one side. Okay, so I've taken the onions out. As you can see, there's just a slight tinge of brown. That's all it needs, and a little bit of translucency onto the outer edge of the onions. Don't overdo it, otherwise they'll break up. The beef is back into the pot in the same oil, and I'm browning it off. You can do this in small stages, do a little bit at a time. It probably brown them better and quicker. But what the hell, this is my way of doing it. After searing the beef, put the onions back in, followed by all of the other ingredients. I use tin tomatoes, but 2 or 3 ripe tomatoes, fresh, is also good. Probably better, who knows. Okay, I've put all of the ingredients in. That includes salt, pepper, cinnamon, cloves, rosemary, and garlic, a bay leaf, and you can also put in a splash of red wine if you like. I quite often do, but I've only got white in the house. I must have drunk it. Put the lid on, bring to the boil, and then turn down to a gentle bubbly simmer for a couple of hours or until the beef is tender. Watch it doesn't spill off. What we're after is a gentle simmer for a couple of hours to tenderise the meat and bring out the flavours, but also to reduce the stock until it's gone well down and is a nice, thick, tasty, yummy stock, okay? Keep an eye on it. You may have to top up now and again with a little bit more stock just to keep it from burning. But yeah, that's it. I'm now going to go and have a drop of wine while it cooks. I love cooking, don't you? If your pot is simmering this fast, it's too much. Turn it down. By the way, Here's a little tip for you. Do you ever get that occasion when you bought tin of tomato puree and there's a load left over? Well, what I do, I smear it into ice cubes packets and freeze it. I tell you what, it's brilliant. You can just take out what you need. I know in England you can buy little tiny packets, and so can we over here when they've got them. But now and again you do have a bit left over, and it's a shame to waste it. Economia! And there we go. That's nicely reduced to what I want it. And the sauce is thick and unctuous, and the meat pulls apart beautifully with a fork. Just nice. 1 hour 40 minutes that took. But please, please, watch the bottom of your pan. Lovely, meaty, unctuous Stifado. Cheers.